Hello, scrappy friends. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday. My name is Diane Gutierrez, and I am a Creative Memories advisor located in California. Today is a Scrap with Me session, so you might have seen my thumbnail and my paper selections. I'm going to be working with the Grateful Harvest collection, and what I like to show during the Scrap with Me sessions are ideas that I put in my cutting guide. So if you've gotten any of my cutting guides or seen them, I have a cute, like a quick and cute series, and then I also have a playful and polished. And today we'll be looking at one of the layouts from the quick and cute cutting guide. Before we jump into the layout, I just want to change my screen here for a minute and talk about this right here, the Creative Memories launch of their Black Friday promos. And they do this every year. This is not a surprise, right? We knew this was coming. I didn't know it was going to be quite so early in November, but it's been awesome. And what's flashing here on the screen are the most current promotional items that you can receive. By placing a qualifying order, you can receive a free gift, and that's what's so exciting. These are gifts that we can't purchase, so they only come out during this time. It's been a wild whirlwind kind of a week, and things have been selling out. I know that's a little bit frustrating, but CM has been really on top of it and having replacement items. The three that are flashing on the screen are the three that are left. It goes through the 14th or until while supplies last. So if you haven't checked it out, I'll come back and put a link in the comments of this video. Okay, let me go ahead and jump over to my desktop using the Grateful Harvest. So it's a beautiful collection with those dark tones that we always look for. It's a fun collection. I really love my icon piece today, which is this pie paper. I don't know what else to call it, but bunch of pies. It looks so yummy. That's going to be our main focus today, that piece. And then I have some other pieces that I'm going to bring in from the collection as well. Little piece of a scrap and the blue and the brown. I'm going to build on top of white today and bring in some cardstock for some layering and photo mats. Okay, I'm going to start with the brown piece. So like I was explaining, this layout is in my cutting guide for the Quick and Cute series for Grateful Harvest, and so this has already been used on something else, and my idea today is to take my scrap and get it used on this layout. I love this paper because it's so universal. Brown, of course, is going to go with a lot of different things in this collection. So my idea with this is to spread it out. This type of layout is called generally as like a split layout, because I'm going to have part of it up here at the top, and then the other part will be down here at the bottom of the other page. My main goal is to take the papers I showed you and then represent it on each side of the layout. Okay, it's kind of how I like to bring that cohesiveness between the page together. So the first thing I want to do is I want to cut this brown into a frame, but I only want the frame to be on 3 edges, because I want to take the frame and put on one side, and then the chunk in the center and put it on the right hand side. Okay, so I'm going to do a 1-inch gut. Big block is going to come to the right hand side, and I'm going to come down only 1/4 of an inch. I just want a little bit of the white exposed around the edge. And then this one will come over here. I think I'll come down maybe 1/2 inch. Again, I just want that white exposed, and it's still a little bit long. I think I'm going to trim it down. I'm going to trim it down to 6 inches. I'm going to cut 2 strips of this at 5 inches each. And then I want to trim it down. I want to fit it into my frame over here. So I'm going to trim them both down to 11 inches. On the left-hand side, I'm going to take one of these and place it right over here. And we'll go like that on one side, and then on this side, here's that split we're talking about. And I'm going to split them up and put this one down here like that. And then my blue, I'm going to do another 5-inch cut. I like that width. I'm going to turn this, cut it at 8 inches, put one on each side. Okay, and I'm going to put this one over here. On the right hand side, the blue piece is just going to float around up here somewhere for now. That's my basic page layout right there. Let's look at my photos. I think that's the best thing, kind of show you where I'm going with this, because I'm actually going to bring in a large photo. This again is a Thanksgiving page, and I feel like sometimes it's a little hard with Thanksgiving because I feel like it's the same photos every year. So I did try to make sure I just kind of caught most of the people that were there. I might have to do another page for this particular year. But this is a 5x7. I thought this was a cute photo of my husband and his mother. Get those kind of sweet photos very often. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to make this one a nice big front and center kind of photo on this page. And then I'll bring in some more like supporting photos on the other page. So this will be my photo here. If you didn't have a 5x7, then there's certainly room to put two 4x6s. These are not 4x6, but let's assume that they are. You know, that you have plenty of room there to put in two like that, and then, or even stagger them or something. So that's what I'm going to do there. I'm going to come back in with a mat on that side, and on this side, these are going to be those supporting photos. So I'm going to try to do something like, I kind of want, let me just try to put them on here first and then see about my placement. Yeah, something like this. This is a really great layout if you have like a fancy page on one side, but you kind of want to do a photo dump on the other side. This is a great one. So I have two verticals and then two horizontals, and I've just kind of put them like almost in a circular, like a fan kind of grid here. And I'm gonna leave the center. Oh, this actually worked out perfect. My photos all have like some dead space right here, so that's perfect because I will come in with an embellishment cluster right here. So none of those will be matted, but I am gonna mat this one. So let me go ahead and do that. Yeah, let's do journaling. I'm just gonna use a piece of lined paper. I'm gonna come back in and put a mat around the paper too. I use lined paper a lot in the Cute and Quick because I'm limited supplies, but a pack of paper, lined paper goes a long way. So I love to bring that in. I'm gonna probably put it somewhere around here, and I'm gonna kind of tuck it under the photo. So I'm gonna bring in some hot fudge, the dark brown, to put a mat around that. So it's 2.5 inches. So I'm gonna go a little bit wider and go 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. That way it kind of stands out a little and doesn't fade into the white space down there. We're ready to do some embellishing, just like that. That's coming together very quickly today. I'm gonna bring in my ovals. No, a switch, right? I always bring in circles. Today I'm gonna bring in ovals and my tag punch. However, I'm gonna switch this a little bit today because I always reach for my tag punch. You guys know I love my tag punch, and I wanted to show you, in case you have the tag punch and love it as much as I do, that you can substitute. But I'm actually gonna bring in a die from my stash, a metal die, and it's just a tag, something different. Let's see here. Let's start with the tag first. Scoot this aside a little, bring in my little die cutter here. I love that it just sits on my desk. So I'm going to cut 2 tags and use them as embellishment base. Do one here on this orange or this pumpkin color, and then I'm going to do another one on the hot fudge to match my tag. I kind of want to stagger them, so I could either put the orange out or the brown out, maybe brown, and then tuck it right up here. I'm going to scoot my picture a little more this way. There we go. So the reason I don't use a journaling box on these is because I don't buy the journaling boxes for the mat cards for these. But if you had a mat card that you wanted to use, this would be a great place. My spot right here, I think I'm going to come back in with my ovals. So let's do that. I have this scrap of yellow, and I just need my red blade today. So this is the biggest oval, and I'm using this scrap of yellow just because I have it Of course, you could bring in solid color as well, but I like the texture of the leaves on this yellow. Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to do the inside of the largest oval with the red blade. And then I'm going to come right over here. Okay, so then I also want to bring in a little bit on the other side as well, just to, again, to tie those together. And like we were saying, we have this spot between the photos. That's where I'm going to embellish. That will be my only embellishment cluster on here. That way, I feel like a lot of the paper already got covered up with those photos, and I do want those to be highlighted. So I'm going to bring in, this is the second to the smallest. So remember, the ovals have 4, and here's the biggest one, and then we had the 2 other ones. But this would be, you're starting from the smallest, this would be the second one in. Do the same thing, the inside, on the inside track with the red blade. I just want it to be in there to kind of tie it all together. We might not even see a lot of that. So if you wanted something bigger that kind of stands out, or you have more space in your photos that you want to cover, you can put, certainly put a bigger oval there. Okay, so the first thing is I did bring in some twine for my tags. I was going to loop them through, but you know what? I think I'll just tie a bow now and do a bow instead of what I normally do, which is to run the twine through here. And I want to use these right here, but I want them to say grateful, thankful, and bountiful is what I'll use. Plentiful too, I suppose, but I don't have green on here. There's a little bit of greenish hint to the pumpkins, but I would use that one. And I'm really going for these 2. And I'm just going to stagger them right here on my tags. So it'll say grateful. I do want the orange one. I'm going to change it around so that the orange one is kind of away from the orange tag. And then we'll have grateful right here. Bountiful and it helps that it's already on blue. I don't have one that specifically says like Thanksgiving or anything, but we do have this one that says fall feels. And then I'm going to choose this one right here that says cold days, hot drinks, because it has that blue again. And maybe I'm going to pop this one up onto some foam. I'm sure we were drinking some warm drinks that day. And I'll come back in on both those with some more like little finishing touches. Now over here, I kind of want to highlight the pies. Eyes on the pies. That's me on Thanksgiving. I'm all about the desserts. And I like this pumpkin pie here because it goes really well with my paper. Okay, let's do those 2 and see. So these are pretty big. And I'm actually going to pull this off too. And I'm going to put this one kind of up here at the top. And then the other pie, the pumpkin pie, will come down here. I just want a little bit of the oval poking out. That's it. So we know it's there and it's tying it in a little bit, but it's not overtaking. So yeah, we can have a bigger one if you wanted to, but I don't want to cover up too much in the photos. That's pretty much all I'm going to embellish. I am going to come in with a few finishing touches. Let's use this little pie, the apple pie. We have lots of leaves. We just have to find the one we want to use. That one's nice. Yellow. Here's a brown one. Let's go with the yellow. Kind of want to do something like, just want to have the leaf behind it or to the side. There. I do like that. There's a couple different, I want to come down here. Now there's some options. My original layout, I had like some leftover little pieces from the coffee strips that were here. I think that would be cute right there, especially with the cold drinks, but I don't have any left. So I'm going to go with a little bit of pie. So what I'm thinking, I don't need this much, but I'm just going to put a little strip, kind of tuck it under and have it coming out the side. So that's about 4 pies. Which pies do I want? I'm going to tuck it kind of right like that and have it coming off the cluster. I might go down to 3 pies. There we go. I like 3 much better. Those odd numbers probably. There we go. It'll go like that. That'll lay flat. I do want to bring in a little leaf right there. Here's the brown. I'm like, I thought I saw a brown one. Here we go. And I'm going to kind of tuck it under. Yep, we can hardly see our base under there. I have room for a bigger one. Maybe I'll go back and cut a little bit bigger one when I go to adhere everything down. That's my quick and cute layout using Grateful Harvest. Well, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me while I get this page scrapped and now into my album. This was 2023, so that's not that far back. That's pretty good. Thank you again for joining me, and until next week, take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye.